Justin Vrengia, Rosebud Kincaid. Bud. We really want to share with people, just like we said, the true nature of consciousness, what it really means, how we're all connected in one way, shape, or form to another. I guess if you could share with us some of your influence of consciousness or some of your teachings that you've picked up, that would be quite incredible, because I know it's a big topic.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on our third show. We are a work in progress, and Justin is tuning us in again with, because we have a new camcorder, so maybe you'll see us a little clearer this time. Yes, consciousness. Not so much, I would consider myself an expert, but I'm an expert in my own self. So that's what consciousness is all about, is studying the consciousness of your own self in order to understand the collective whole consciousnness. It is a system of sort of like a computer when you think about it. It collects bits and pieces of information, and that's why we are so individual entities. We're all interconnected locally and then non-locally. And so how does this translate into understanding? One of the things that I know is that I always thought that the consciousness was my mind and my thoughts that I was thinking, and actually the consciousness is everything. It's in everything, and it also is finite, which is another thing that I discovered as I was understanding consciousness. Finite meaning it's so big I don't understand it, so it seems like it's infinite, but it is finite in the sense that there is a system that is collective, and we're all part of that system. So it's all about energy, particles and waves. It has a lot to do with physics, metaphysics, unified field theory, quantum physics. It's all part of our consciousness and the understanding of our consciousness. So an experience of understanding how the consciousness works is just understanding your own self. And when you're meditating and you're quiet and you're praying, bringing that peace into you helps open up you to the collective consciousness of the non-local reality. It is subjective. It's not objective. Objective would be the scientific evaluation of consciousness, but subjective is something that is very much a part of the consciousness of the entity. So in order to understand consciousness, the first place to start is within yourself.
Right. And that's what I picked up as well. It's like you try to explain to somebody or the people watching right now about consciousness intellectually, and if you've never experienced it, you're going to think absolutely we're nuts, because it is something you have to develop on your own to truly understand it, because all of our consciousnesses are completely different in their own retrospect, but they're unique to you. So in order to experience higher states of consciousness or a unified field of higher levels of consciousness, you really have to have a vibration of love, which is a low vibration, versus the opposite, which would be a fear-based vibration,
And the lower the entropy, the more the consciousness can learn. And that's what we're here to learn. And that's why we have free will. Otherwise, it would be a program in the computer. Mm-hmm. So we're all bits and pieces of this little information that keeps coming through us, through a collective field of the consciousness. And as we interpret that consciousness in our own understanding of things, we make choices, and that's from our free will. And as we make choices, other potential realities open up to us. And that's what consciousness is here for, to help us evolve and to help us grow, and we're all a part of that. Nothing is outside of that. So it's sort of like consciousness might be considered God, because it has the total wisdom and understanding of the whole, but individually, we can only understand the parts that we are interrelated to and connected to, unless we can really open up our consciousness to low entropy to move into the collective field. And so there's where the unified field theory comes in with particles and waves. When you're not looking at something specifically, and you let your consciousness sort of like move into that entropy of peace and love, you are a wave, and you can move into all different parts of the consciousness that are non-local, and then as you see something, you become the particle again. And so that's what's so interesting, one of the things that was exciting for me to understand, because it all seems so confusing with science and the metaphysical and the spiritual. It seemed that we didn't have with Einstein and Bohm, we didn't have that connection with relativity, with the metaphysical and the spiritual. And so through unified field and understanding consciousness, we are able to understand how this all works within ourselves and within the collective. So if you want to make change and you want to learn and grow, the state would be growing in a field of peace and love. And that brings low entropy. It's less and less of the chaos, and so then it opens up into all the non-local fields of consciousness. And pretty much, I don't know how much you want to get deep into this. But
and we put up on the website at esotericcosmos.com/consciousness.html. I'll throw a link up here on the recorded version of the show. Thomas Campbell, I believe his name is. Excellent presentation. He's actually, is he a physicist?
He's a physicist, and he's a physicist.
And he studies, his specialty is studying the nature of consciousness, and he does that scientifically, and it's very powerful. That's why we created a link, just threw it up on Esoteric, because we want to share this presentation with everybody, because this is something, it's about a 3-hour presentation, by the way, but it is very powerful, very simple and easy to understand from using a scientific approach to consciousness and how everything is all connected, through actual facts and science.
Right. And his book is My Big Toe, which is the TOE is the theory of everything,
right,
which kind of brings in the philosophy, the physics, the unified field theory, the science, the metaphysical. It brings in everything, and he really simplifies this into his lecture. But mainly what this theory is we are a part of a whole system that is